Welcome to all. I am Dr. B. Sudhakar, Director MBA, Hindustan College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore, presenting you this module on transportation and warehousing decisions in a supply chain. Introduction to supply chain. Supply chain management is the set of activities involved in the process of efficiently integrating the suppliers, manufacturers, warehouses and stores. Supply chain distributes the products manufactured at the right quantities to the right locations and at the right time in order to minimize the total cost of the supply chain as well as satisfy the service level requirements of each and every member in the supply chain to meet the expectations of the customer. The learning objectives of these module are to discuss the role of transportation decision in a supply chain, to understand the principles of transportation decision in a supply chain, to analyze the various modes of transportation in a supply chain, to discuss the role of warehousing decision in a supply chain, to discuss the objectives and operations of warehousing in a supply chain, to discuss the various types of warehousing in a supply chain, to analyze the warehousing strategy for a supply chain. The learning outcomes from this module are an understanding of the role of transportation decision in supply chain, an understanding of the principles of transportation decision in a supply chain, an understanding of the various modes of transportation in a supply chain, an understanding of the role of warehousing decision in a supply chain, an understanding of the objectives and operations of warehousing in a supply chain, an understanding of the various types of warehousing in a supply chain, and to understand the different warehouse strategies for a supply chain. Introduction of transportation. Moving of goods from the point of origin to the point of destination across the supply chain through its members is known as transportation. It is an important driver for the supply chain because the goods produced are rarely consumed in the same location. Role of transportation in supply chain management. The role of transportation in logistics has changed with a wide variety of transport alternatives and with a wide range of value added service to support the supply chain. Private transport companies have become part of the supply chain, and third party logistics companies offer a wide variety of services like product sorting, sequencing and customized freight delivery to improve the efficiency of the supply chain. Advancement in technology has improved the services of the logistics with real time visibility of tracking the vehicles using GPRS systems and the integration of delivery systems through internet. Development of an integrated transport management system has improved the product delivery and reduced the inventory and material handling, resulting in reduced transportation cost and improved value of transportation for the supply chain. Let us now discuss the transport functionality. Transportation is the backbone of an economy. Improved transportation infrastructure helps the economy to grow. Transportation is an important element of logistics. It helps the supply chain in the movement of products and storage of goods. Movement of products from the suppliers to the customers across the supply chain has become the primary value proposition of transportation in a supply chain. Its performance is based on the time, cost and the impact on the environment. Today, the developments in information technology have significantly improved the access to data on the movement of the transport and the time of delivery, which helps the supply chain to plan the exact time of delivery to the customers. On an average, the transportation cost is about 30% of the total logistics cost. We understand that transportation is a non-value adding activity. Hence, the focus of the supply chain is to reduce the cost of transportation to decrease the total supply chain cost. Transportation industry is the largest consumer of fuel and oil across the globe. Efforts have been on to bring in fuel efficient vehicles which are environment friendly, as they affect the environment through air pollution and noise pollution. Storage of products during transportation is considered as an option when there is a total cost advantage to the supply chain and or when it improves the supply chain responsiveness. It may be also considered as the best option when there is diversion of products during the transit. Supply chain managers use transportation to improve their responsiveness and their overall performance. Transportation principles. Transportation principles are two. One, the economy of scale, and second, the economy of distance. Economy of scale is in transportation is referred to the reduction in cost per unit of weight transported in relation to the increase in lot size of shipment done. For example, when a truck full load shipment utilizes the entire capacity of the truck, the cost per unit of load transported gets reduced. But when we utilize only part of the entire capacity of the truck, the cost per unit of load transported gets increased. Economy of distance in transportation is referred to the reduction in transportation cost per unit of weight in relation to the distance moved for that quantity of shipment. When the distance moved increases for a given volume of goods, the transportation cost per unit decreases. This is also known as the tapering principle in transportation. These two principles are used during the evaluation process of various transport alternatives in a supply chain. The goal of the supply chain manager is to maximize the size of the load to be shipped and the distance to be shipped at the lowest cost to meet the expectation of the customer in terms of their service expectations. Let us now look into the participants of the transportation process. The participants are the shipper or the consignor, the consignee, the carriers and the agents, the government, internet and the public. Let us now look one by one. Shipper or the consignor. The organization or the person who wants to transport the goods from one place to the another place is known as the shipper or consignor. Consignee. The party who receives the product through transportation at the destination is known as the consignee. Carrier or agents. Carrier is an organization who is into the business of moving the goods from one place to the another. Carriers coordinate the pick and delivery of products to the customer's point in addition to the movement of goods. Brokers and agents are intermediaries who act as agents for the carrier to facilitate capacity and shipping requirements to the carriers. Government. Government plays a major role in transportation. It takes the responsibility of creating the transport infrastructure across the country to enable the economy to grow. Sometimes they are also involved in the transportation of goods. They frame the regulations on the movement of goods and govern the process of transportation across the country. Internet. The recent development in information technology and communication technologies, the transport industry has been able to widen their scope of business and services across the globe. Capacity matching and shipment requirements are managed online through internet, resulting in more and effective businesses. Information sharing across the members of the supply chain regarding the transportation through the network has helped the members of the supply chain to increase their performance. Similarly, the real-time visibility of the movement of goods has helped the scheduling and capacity planning of the members across the supply chain. Public. Public plays a vital role in determining the growth of the transportation system. The public create the demand for the products, which is translated across the supply chain, resulting in transportation of goods across the supply chain. In this process, the public expect the industry to do the process keeping in mind and the environment and safety standards so that they do not affect the society. They also expect the cost of transportation to be minimum as they will get the benefit while purchasing. In this edition, we have discussed the role of transportation and the principles of transportation in a supply chain. In the next edition, we will discuss the different modes of transportation and the transport economies in a supply chain. Thank you.